Hi, this is Cindy from Shepherd's Heart Fellowship, and welcome to week 18 of reading our Bible in a year. This is God Has Not Forgotten, and our daily readings are 2 Samuel and Psalms, with day 7 as our catch-up day. In 2 Samuel 9, we see how David finds a way to show kindness to Mephibosheth, the son of his best friend Jonathan, and the grandson of his worst enemy Saul. When the nurse caring for 5-year-old Mephibosheth heard that Saul and Jonathan had died in battle, she grabbed the child and ran. In her haste, she dropped him, and both of his feet were broken, disabling him permanently. Back then, if you were disabled, you would have a hard time earning a living, even harder than today, and many people wouldn't be able to see past your differences to appreciate your worth. Because this happened to him as a child, Mephibosheth spent most of his life not being able to recognize his own value. When we see him in 2 Samuel 9, he's a grown man living in someone else's house in a small town called Lo-Debar, unable to provide for himself. In 1 Samuel 20:14-15, Jonathan says, "And may you treat me with the faithful love of the Lord as long as I live. But if I die, treat my family with this faithful love, even when the Lord destroys all your enemies from the face of the earth." Years later, David has not forgotten the promise he made. When David engages with Mephibosheth, he says to him, "Don't be afraid. I intend to show you kindness to you because of my promise to your father, Jonathan. I will give you all the property that once belonged to your grandfather Saul, and you will eat here with me at the king's table." 2 Samuel 9:7. Mephibosheth has always felt like nothing. In fact, in verse 8, he asked David, "Who is your servant that you should show such kindness to a dead dog like me?" He very possibly wants to be forgotten because of the wicked things his grandfather Saul did. But David wants to bless him because of the promise he made to his father Jonathan. Mephibosheth can't fathom anyone showing him this type of favor, but God has plans beyond his comprehension. God has not forgotten about you either. It has nothing to do with you or anything that you've done, right or wrong. It's all because of God's favor. Even if it seems against the odds, there's still favor over your life. The blessing that God has for you are coming in spite of you, not because of you. The truth is, we're all flawed, but God looks past those flaws and still supplies our needs. He even gives us some of our wants. God still has you on his mind. Like Mephibosheth, you may not feel favored, but you are highly favored. You may not feel blessed, but you are better than blessed. Our points to ponder. 1. Has there ever been a time in your life when you couldn't see your own value? What were the circumstances surrounding that session of your life? 2. How did you get released from that kind of thinking? You struggle with it still? 3. How would you encourage someone else who may find it hard to realize their value? And actions for the week. Brainstorm ways to show kindness to someone this week. Think of a kindness that has been shown to you at some point, then be intentional and pay it forward to someone else. Find a way to put a smile on the face of someone who you know has been low in spirit. And send someone a message and remind them that God has not forgotten about them. Thank you, and see you next week.